Hi everyone, today's the 22nd of March 2025. Welcome to Authentic Ingenuity Entrepreneur. My name is Mina Crichton, and today I will do the usual, start off with an introduction, and then I'll end the video clip on what's actually on my heart today to put on this clip. So I'll just continue. So if you go onto my YouTube channel, you'll find everything on there. It's all about myself, my personal entity, my ideas, my personal identity, my testimony, and everything about me, making it my personal property, and also the real life facts of my journey linking to my court cases that's currently in the courts. So today I'll just continue with my topic. So it's not just court, it's personal and professional, my professional journey, and it's real. It's a real life story, real life testimony of myself. Okay, before I get onto the topic, I like to kind of introduce with using the posters just to get everybody into the mindset of where I'm coming from. So basically I've just visually just put everything in graphic design, just of my own thoughts, my own what I see and what I describe as the victim of crimes, of the things that I've been up against. They're definitely conspiracy crimes or conspiracy offences committed by secret societies, meaning I'm the actual, according to the law, I'm the victim. Nobody likes to admit that, but that is the reality of my court case and me as an individual. So according to the law, I'm the victim. I'm not the actual offender. So you can't be both. You can't be the offender and you can't be the victim. But in my cases that I have against the Crown, they are the offenders in my cases. And so basically, I'm just continuing and challenging the secret alliances, that is the public deception, that is opposing me, and so I'm opposing them with my truth. And I'm looking to have everything finalised legally and publicly, because I've been subject to defamation, also being used for pecuniary advantage historically without my consent. Okay, so I'm actually also dealing with my personal property, which is my profile and everything about myself, which is I'm entitled to because it's about myself, and I haven't given anyone else consent to represent me. So at the moment, I am currently representing myself in the courts, because our courts in New Zealand allow us to do that. We don't have to have a law degree if you're talking about your own entity. You can get one, but not everybody can afford a lawyer because they're not cheap. But the laws do allow us to represent ourselves. So this is what I'm actually up against. Unfortunately, with the reality of everything I've gone through, the opposition has been cheating, and I'm still opposing it, and I'm still challenging this publicly and globally, because it's been a global game, and I didn't realize this going back when it first started happening. Although in my environment I knew something wasn't right, I couldn't make sense why things were the way they were, although I knew it wasn't right. It just didn't. Something, you just get that feeling in your in your gut that something's not right, and as it turns out, the revelation of everything is true, and now I'm able to actually globally expose the global illegal game that is so serious and dangerous on any innocent civilian. You can be an innocent civilian working for the government. I was working for the government for 17 and a half years. One of these people mind their own business and just carried on with life like normal, a law-abiding citizen, and I had my own family and my own private life, but little did I know, and until in recent years, the revelation of exactly what I've been through, it's actually been quite mind-blowing for me personally, and very hard for me over the years to actually come to terms of the reality of it. Just, I think that all comes from the mental repercussions after the fact, and just dealing with the aftermath of what I'd gone through personally while I was working for my employer. Okay, so for those that been watching me, or maybe you're new on board, my background is working for the government. I've worked for different agencies, but my main field of experiment's more around the criminal jurisdiction, because I was a court deputy registrar for the courts in different jurisdictions. So that is where my experience and knowledge comes from actually doing that job, and the things that I'd learned while I was actually doing that job. I did start off working from the top, then working my way down to different jurisdiction. I just feel that's the journey I've gone through. I feel like God had sort of kind of took me to the top, working my way down instead of the other way around. So, but however, the experience that I am articulating at the moment does refer to what I've gone through. So if you're new on board and maybe you don't have a clue, or maybe I don't make sense to you, that's understanding. That's because what I'm talking about, only those in my caliber, those that worked with me or do the same kind of job will understand exactly where I'm coming from, whereas others to you it probably may look and sound nonsense. But but anyway, this is my testimony. I feel like I'm supposed to be doing this as the years go by, so I'll just carry on. But before I do, it is a conspiracy. So legally, by law, I can confirm that what has happened to me as an individual, I've been subject to historical micromanaging organised crimes, is called in the legislation, but I'm dealing with facts after the fact mainly. But the evidence does clearly show it is a conspiracy. The actual incidents that occurred in between, but I'm dealing with secret societies breaking the law just by the misuse of devices, and it is a global game. I guess everybody will get a little bit of something here and there from it. I'll just continue. Okay, so I'm definitely been a blockout situation. Okay, so you're blacklisted, and everything I have gone through, I can actually confirm that's exactly what I've gone through. Whether the laws don't work, the agencies won't investigate, and then you go out, and most of the time you got people walking around looking zombie, or just just the environment is not natural. So basically we're dealing with what is natural and what is organized force, okay? So it's actually really hard to articulate the difference, or to ascertain that difference, and even for those that are kind of not really experienced, because I actually talk from more of an experience level, more of an intermediate level. But the way I'm introducing or speaking about what I'm doing, I'm just trying to put everything in plain English so everyone can understand where I'm coming from. But so basically we're dealing with natural justice, natural law versus organized. Okay, so organized, they call it now micromanaging, but it is still organized criminal. Like if it's a negative kind of a set of circumstance, it becomes a criminal case in the first instance. So it's actually really, really, really difficult to understand the difference if you've it kind of depends on your culture. Like a lot of cultures, they do organize everything, whereas some cultures they don't do anything like that. My culture, I wasn't brought up where people organized me. I was basically just a free spirit sort of a person because that was just my culture. A lot of the learning things I learned, but I learned because of life experiences, or I've taken the initiative to actually, educate myself, or the things I've learned from when I went to school, or just from growing up, life's journey in general. So in my case, we are dealing with internal corruption, okay? I'll just take these off, it's a bit annoying. So excuse if those pop up. I didn't kind of stop that from happening. But anyway, so we're dealing with internal corruption, because when you are locked out and blocked out or blacklisted, and that's definitely the case with my case, we are dealing with internal corruption where people are doing their own thing, or they're intentionally blacklisting an individual for whatever reason. Okay, it is illegal. But if you don't have enough evidence, you're not able to challenge that within court. So it's important that if you can build yourself a case, then you can challenge it in court, because the court allows us. Even though it's very hard to do, because a lot of people are being personally attacked because they're oblivious of the laws, or oblivious of their own legal right as a human being, or maybe just having legal rights and knowledge of what applies to you and what protects you as an individual and what protects you in your business. Okay, I'm being blessed. I've got the best of both worlds. So I believe that is what actually helped me more so how to deal with what I was going through emotionally, mentally, and intellectually. It's just a combination of everything I've gone through has helped me get where I am at. So enjoy this video. I'll just carry on. While we're on the topic of natural, what is natural and what is not natural, so I have found this system where the people we are talking to are being a mouthpiece for somebody else. Okay, so this is what this new system is designed for. So the danger for the public and those conversing with people that they're talking to, if your privacy is gone, is whether are they telling you the truth or giving you misleading information, or are they withholding information. So I found that this system is using they're using young inexperienced people in the call center or front desk or hub desk to be the mouthpiece of somebody else. So they're actually carrying out somebody else's information. Other times is maybe they're brand new and they're learning, and they're relying on the people that are training them to teach them. So this is my experience. So I'm a very I know what I'm talking about. So I have felt frustrated that the people that I've talked to have been inexperienced, and then I realized later on that it's all just been a tactic by those behind the scene, so then it doesn't fall on them, if you get what I mean. Unfortunately, because of historically they've been doing this to me, there's sufficient evidence now to actually prosecute or sue the corporate body. So because there's definitely a consistency of pattern of them using people in the front counter like a blockout situation to protect them from getting criminally charged, or to protect them from being sued. So that is my personal experience. The other thing I have found is that they've also linked themselves to family members within my private life, and they've worked through them Okay, unfortunately, that is the reality, and that it's like a Ponzi scam. What makes it more serious and more dangerous for the innocent civilians and the originals is that it's a global game, and I have discovered in my own personal experience with everything that I've gone through, and can actually confirm by law that the secret societies entails those in government, not just New Zealand government, which means our government, those in with working within our government. If you have participated in an alliance linking yourself to these relationship scam, you've actually committed treason. They actually also talks about unlawful strikes. That's what's happened in my case, where the judiciary or the registrar is somehow linked to outside people linking to me. That becomes treason. Okay, so that is the reality of my court case. So historically, after they did all their recording and studying me and making their links to family members, a division takes place. Okay, so you've been watching me. It's definitely involving relationship scam and me being the original and being animated. But if people who are going through what I've gone through, you have all kinds of inhumane, psychological abuse, indirect, people acting it out and actually using their jobs, and it's a gang. It's another form of a gang, but it's a negative force. It is an evil force out to destroy somebody's confidence, or is a force to actually make them either commit suicide or to take them down on a downhill spiral where the individual can end up being exiled and in a very serious set of circumstances where you will end up either commit suicide or somebody will murder you. So that's their whole idea, whoever is behind the negative alliance, but they are using their jobs, and I believe it's I think it's a global problem. So it is real. Okay, so it's an indirect. They're already in your space. They're using their cars. You can just tell the color coding the participants, and if you are the actual original they're trying to eliminate, you will go through everything I'm going through. Is it easy to undo and find out who are the corporate bodies involved? Yes, because they're doing everything under the camera. But what I have found, they're so clever. They're like doing the damage in the moment, and then they're deleting the evidence. But they can still be made accountable because it's illegal to actually delete anything, and they can still find out who deleted. So yeah. Okay, so the negative alliance that I have gone through, I'd say they're people who has no conscience, they're people who've purposed in their heart to actually do the damage or to actually participate, meaning they're not going by their own conscience or their own goodwill that would normally say, don't do that, that's not right, or something is wrong, don't do it. But they've willingly denied their own goodwill, their own, their own, whatever it is, that they were taught not to do as growing up. If you've got good parents, they do teach you what is right and what is wrong. We teach our children while they're young to obey, because then when they grow up, they learn to obey the law and obey the government and obey and do good things. But if adults are doing this, you can expect an unruly generation in the future, which I believe that's where we're at in this generation of technologies. We've got people behind just pressing buttons, no conscience, and they don't give, they don't care about anybody. They just do it. But I have found the system very unmerciful. There's no remorse. It's quite of an addictive kind of a game, because they're behind the scene and they're just watching the victims go down one by one. And yeah, they're actually, it's a bit of a kind of a game that's quite fetish, meaning, it's addictive, and, some people do get pleasure in watching other people suffer, and just from the actual just being able to win something for free, I guess, without getting caught, but it is illegal, and if they do get caught, they can be charged. So anyone in government who's participated in criminal offences, if you want to know more about them, just watch the other video clips of all those in prominent positions. They can all be made accountable. What I found totally unfair is that I know that some of them, these people are doing the damage in advance on innocent civilians. Then they get caught maybe 6 months later, maybe later. It takes a while for them to actually get caught. Then they get asked to stand down. I don't think that's actually good enough. I think that they should actually be legally charged for what they've done and then be exposed to the public. They don't deserve, to be protected, because people have looked up to them. And the old system used to do that. They used to expose those in government or anyone in public office, so then the public will know that they've broken the law, so then the public will know that not to go to them. Stuff like that just gives the public an awareness of who's actually a corrupt person and who is actually an honest person. But now we have a system where they're actually branding defendants or branding the women clone to me, and then the public think, I'm just like, hang on, what did these people actually do to deserve to be branded? Okay, because to be branded is actually meant to be a positive thing, and usually the people that are being branded or used are usually because they've done something good, that people will look up to as an example. But if we have corrupt leaders doing that secretly behind the scene, that's just not good for anybody. Okay, the journey for those that are being personally victimized, okay, there's a lot of pain and suffering. It's serious. It's serious. As words cannot describe how serious it is. But personal victimization takes place. I'm actually it's been a tough journey for me, but I feel happy and also within my right place to expose this game, because these people, they are cheating, and they haven't earned anything. They're just want a free ride, and they are deceiving the public, and they are breaking the law, and they are also a danger to society. Okay, so half of the problem that I've had with my court cases is the fact the opposing allies think that they should actually win because they have a law degree and I don't. Okay, so I've been self-litigating my case. So unfortunately in this new age system, they've kind of built up some kind of alliances where cultures are or countries, not just cultures or religions, they're pairing up, okay, versus the actual honest people. Okay, and unfortunately the Crown is the defendant in my case. So the Crown is actually the government, for those that don't know. So this has been one of the big reasons why they think they are doing the right thing, but unfortunately they're doing the wrong thing according to the laws and spiritually and just publicly. What they're doing is wrong. Okay, so this is what I'm up against. The system is actually created. I believe it's been going on for a long time, but it was just my turn. That's what I believe. I believe there's been a lot of other people, like myself, who have gone through what I've gone through, and they're just trying to fight for their liberty, fight for their own rights and the law, using the system, but they've been bullied against. It's cybercrime, and it is internal corruption. I find it really I'm kind of shocked, but I'm horrified that they're actually cheating. I can't believe the old Crown never used to cheat. They just wouldn't. But this new Crown, they're cheating, and I have found that the main key people, or I say from experience, are those women used in my what I've exposed on my page. I've named them. I'll get into that soon. But that whatever country those women are, that is how this illegal commonwealth is they're doing. They're coding people. But that is totally unfair. Eventually, they will end up wiping out all the honest people that ever existed, if this system continues. But I'm actually opposing that. But it is the game is expected to no survivors. Once it starts, they do end up murdering people's bloodline. That's the evidence that clearly shows. And they call it the Never Land of cheats. I must put that in. But yeah, they're meaning the victims are never heard, or they'll never be known. We're actually treated invisible. I've never heard of such a system ever in my life with all the experience I have. But I am going through it, and this is what as the victim have witnessed, and I guess I'm a witness to a very serious trafficking ring. So because my case is definitely unlawful strikes, and it is definitely the new age system, I noticed that this system, they're using younger people. They call it fresher. Okay, so when it comes to relationship, whoever's initiating it, whoever's organizing it, is trying to set up the men with younger women. So they're into breaking people's relationships or breaking a bond. That's what they've done, and they're using fresher. They call them. It's on TV. It's quite black and white. It's easy for me to know whether they're talking about me or not, because it's about me they're talking about. But I don't believe I'm the first person they've done to. I'm just the first person that is, brave enough to stand against it and not afraid to actually expose it, because I believe I'm supposed to. But it is the new age system, and it is consistent with the unlawful strike and the system, blocking people out. The danger is they are deleting things as things happen, or they're breaking the law and then helping each other get away, or they break the law to help each other, and then when they know they're in trouble, they try and create this. That's how terrible it is. But it is a sport, and hopefully, God willing, all this will get abolished. So if you're into criminology, my case is the case. And while we're on the topic, I used to work in jury trial depositions, dealing with indictable charges. So my case is definitely a indictable charge case. It's a very serious case because it's a home invasion, and it's just got so many very serious Category 4 offences, a lot of very serious offences. So in the old days, this kind of investigation will not do it if the conspiracy is already in advance. Okay, so that's what's happened. It's a left behind case. So even those that actually investigate are in danger, because they're actually walking into a zone that may have already been contaminated by the people. And what I have found is the people that are the negative alliance, they like to have their foot in the door and keep an eye to make sure that it doesn't backfire on the actual people involved, so they don't go to prison or whatever. But this is what's going on with all this technology system, and globally too, monitoring. So we don't know who exactly the criminal. But if it's a left behind case, I have found that once your privacy is gone, they keep attacking and secretly stealing. That's this new age technology system we're all in. All right, I better get on quickly to my topic. So it's definitely, I've been stuck in a love triangle against my will, and so I'm going to, as long as God gives me air to breathe, breathe. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to kind of continue pursuing everything in my case. I've already won everything. It's just a matter of the right people finalizing it. So it's definitely been a love triangle. You can go watch my other videos of all the evidence in regards to that. All right, so spiritually speaking, I'm a Christian. So that is just, I'm also coming from a Christian's perspective and experience of what I've gone through personally. But spiritually speaking, we would be up against witches and warlocks. So spiritually, in the spiritual realm, these are the people who oppose Christianity or oppose or hate the truth, or people who have, really unreal unbeliefs behind the scene. But this system can easily take out all the good. Like, I have found that they have spent their time, what I've gone through, they've tried to demolish anything good from me or eliminate me after stealing everything, all my good fruits, and giving it to somebody else. I believe Henry's criminal profile will actually articulate the same thing, but we are both being animated or inanimated, and then we've got all these people blocking and stopping and controlling and manipulating. But I'm not the type of person who is easily, controlled or manipulated. I'm very independent. I'm very forward person. I speak my mind, my truth. I'm not afraid to speak my mind and the truth, and even against the opposing allies who wants to challenge me. I have found it really hard because it's a group of people, okay? That's what makes them look like a coward, and really they should be ashamed of themselves because they're ganging up on one person, and I am actually their victim. I'm not the defendant, so they are definitely breaking the laws. So that is what I'm up against. They are cheating, and they're twinning, and then they're switching, and then they're living off other people's hard work or other people's good fruits, making it their own, and they haven't achieved it on their own, but they've had each other help each other, and that is what my personal experience has been. And they've actually, mockingly going on about, they think it's so funny. It is. They're literally feeding off other people's suffering. Like, that's quite evil, but the Bible actually talks about that. In fact, I've already put a scripture out on one of my YouTube pages and one of my video clips. But this is my experience. I believe God wanted me to actually personally go through. So I'm dealing with confusion, people lying and unlawful acts, directly or indirectly, and secretly stealing. So that is what my personal experience has been all about. I won't spend too much on this, but today I'm going to denounce Natalie Vasquiso again, and all the other women. So you all got to keep in mind that these women are also, they're all being supported by other powerful people, other millionaires, other people, top-notch people who are supporting them, but they see it as a sport. So, they don't want their reputation ruined or humiliated, because, this is like a global thing, but some of them have actually branded themselves or been used to be branded, and versus myself, but they're actually the co-offenders in my case and in Henry's case. So I'm going to once again denounce a video clip that came across on social media.
Partner Natalie Vasquiso. Meet members of the royal family in Australia for key event. Henry Cavill rubbed shoulders with the royals as he attended the last day of Cheltenham Festival on Friday. The Superman star met with King Charles' beloved niece Zara Tindall and her husband Mike Tindall, who are avid fans of the equestrian sport. Princess Anne's daughter attended all 4 days of the event with her former rugby player husband as she holds the racecourse. Meanwhile, the Witcher Allen was joined by his partner.
So if you want to know, I don't want to go through the whole video clip because I don't want to make this clip too long. But have a look at, this is the title of it, go on YouTube and find out yourself. But we are definitely denouncing that, okay? Okay, just keep in mind that Henry's actually the vulnerable adult. Okay, so he's the victim, and so am I. Okay, he's in self-defense. He's been unwell for like well over 10 months. Okay, so he's actually had 3 major operations. He sent me this. All right, he's had 3 major operations. It's been a private occasion for him. He's been trying to keep everything private, but things got quite dangerous. But before he actually got sick and had his operation, just so everyone know that the actual relationship between him and Natalie is a PR relationship. I got other video clips explaining what a PR relationship is. I didn't even know, because I'm learning all these things from Henry, but actually a PR relationship, it's not like a real marriage or anything. It's just for show. It's a system that the Hollywood use to, just for show for the public, but then they have their own private life. So at the time when Henry and I met, it was like that Henry and Natalie had already broken up like 10 months because Natalie caught Henry cheating, and that's actually what broke up their romantic relationship. But So anything ongoing as far as between them was all work, was all for work. It was a PR relationship. It's a contract between their PR, and their PR is actually their manager. And from what I've been told is that the manager has a control of everything, has a control of Henry's bank account, control of asset, controls everything apparently. It sounds like he doesn't really have much rights when there is a PR involved. So the PR are the ones who actually selects the person to be in a relationship. So they're made out to be, for the public eye, a couple, but they're not actually a real couple. At the time when they went to South Korea, Natalie actually was engaged to somebody else. She had a fiance, but they did break up 10 months before before Henry and I actually met. So I was actually Henry's, real partner. We're getting to know each other, but we were having interference where people were hacking. He said to me, once they get hold of what he does, it's like these people have access to everything we're doing. Yes, there have been times I've spoken to Henry and I've known, no, that's not him. So that's where I discovered, oh my gosh, I'm talking to an imposter. But we've managed to kind of keep, in contact and trying to do everything we can to stay private. Okay, so what I'm saying can all be used as evidence in a criminal case as my truth and as a witness for Henry. So when he actually got had his operation, nobody knew he was going to have an operation. But he, out of all the women that claims to be Henry's girlfriend, or that he's cheating and all the rest of it, Henry chose me. He chose me as his original girlfriend, to be by his side with him and his mum, and only his family knew, to go through this dark time of his life. And everything's been private. The only reason why we made the decision to go private was because somebody had tried to overdose him, and it was quite obvious with all the public deception, with Natalie doing what she's doing, and then all these women claiming that they're defaming our innocent man's reputation just to make money, okay, and they're actually being groomed by people that hates him. So it's a negative alliance that's actually endangered our life. I've gone through the same thing. So we both agreed, both Henry and I, that I would deal and challenge with the public deception. So then, for not only to protect him, but also for my safety, because we were both in the same situation. And I know that, there are a lot of good people watching me, and with my background and everything I'm going through, I had to go public, because realizing also that, that both of us were quite famous in our own world, and like I'm so private, and I know that I'm no secret, and I know that I'm also quite famous, maybe even more famous than Henry, because of what God has used me for, and because of the powerful people in government that I have actually worked with personally knows that I wouldn't be crying wolf or making up a story. However, this is the new age system, but this is the reason why I went forward. So I'm actually denouncing Natalie Vasquiso because I find what they're doing is appalling. Here's an innocent man fighting for his life. He's gone through so much, and that, but he's come out of a dark time, and I'm so proud of him. So I believe I'm denouncing it because both Henry and I's life are both in danger. Okay, but I believe obviously, Henry, there's so much I can't even talk about right now, but I believe in God's time he'll get his own justice because he deserves it. But what Natalie is doing is illegal, okay? They are not in any legal contract in anything right now, not even as a PR. So even his PR managers, they don't even exist in his life since he's had his operation. He's actually been in hiding because he wants his private life. He is a private man. I'm a private person, but our private life wasn't doing us any good because, the danger we were both going through, and people had found me and linking themselves to him, and they're watching me knowing he's going to do this. So we've had all that kind of an issue, but it isn't a global game. And I think, God is using both of us to actually expose this because this is so serious, But I believe Natalie is, that is really evil what she's doing, especially after all the things he's gone through. She did try and want him back because she wanted him back, but she offered him money to pay him to marry her. Okay, I find her as a woman despicable. I have to say that with all the actions she's doing, she's only out for herself, and so I am denouncing that. But it's quite clear that she's trying to steal everything about him and making it her own. All right. But that is an unfair tactic. They're using, each other to defame me. But God's on my side, and I know that there's powerful, good people on my side too, and see from my perspective where I'm coming from. Can't look at this emotionally. It's more about the law and the safety of people. So I think I'm going to end it at that. Because I've actually got to go out.